43 stopping the vehicle Central and 40th Place. 13L30 is behind the unit.
Sit back and relax. Your group therapy session has started. Welcome to Alone and Unsupervised.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Alone Unsupervised Podcast. I'm Isaiah.
And Frank.
In today's session, we're going to talk about burnout and how to combat it. This isn't the way, a way, or some ways that Frank and I do to not get burnt out, because it's really easy to kind of wake up and be like, "Crap, why am I doing this job?"
Yeah, I mean, last session we kind of talked about um, dark humor
Mm-hmm.
and how that can build from scar tissue.
Yeah.
This is kind of addressing that underlying cause, which
Yeah.
is, sometimes can be the burnout of it.
Yeah. The last one was kind of lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little more heavy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's real simple to get into. Well, what's the point in going to get drugs off the street whenever, I'm making an 8 ball today, but there's 3 more pounds that are behind that 8 ball that are gonna hit the community. As soon as I get the 8 ball off, there's way more waiting. It's easy to get into the why am I doing this? There's no point in it, yada yada yada. But you may not see the difference you make, but you're making difference in people's lives.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to touch on the burnout, it's not necessarily something that you're doing day to day that can help you combat that, but it's actually things that you can do away from the job
Oh, yeah,
that
it's
can help.
I've said it countless times. So if you have a hobby,
Hmm.
go be something besides a firefighter. Go be something besides a cop. Go be something besides a marine or whatever. I could go down the list, but I'm not going to. But go do something besides what you do for a living.
Definitely.
Um, and then there's calls that I have in my Rolodex in my brain that if I'm ever facing well, what's the point in this job? What's the point in doing this? Why don't I go find something like a normal 9 to 5?
Hmm.
Something where I can make more money or whatever. In my first agency, there was a family that I was dealing with that was constant domestic violence, constant this, constant harassment, constant physical violence that I'd show up, I'd do my job, I'd take a report, I'd file for charges, whether they got applied for or not. In this instance, I'd file a PC, not no charges filed. I'd file another PC, no charges filed. I'd file another PC, no charges filed. Eventually, there was an election cycle. That prosecuting attorney got out. A new prosecutor got put in, and with a new prosecutor comes new assistant prosecutors.
Hmm.
And finally, I sent up a PC, and I got a phone call almost immediately to the landline on my desk. And I was like, "Hey, I'm so and so, assistant prosecutor with so and so, and I'm looking over this PC. It's really well written. Good job. The report looks nice. Um, why haven't we filed a charge in the past?" I was like, "Sir, I can't answer that question. I don't work on that side of the fence." And he was like, "Well, the statute of limitations aren't up on any of your prior PCs, so we're going to go ahead and file all four at the same time. Thankfully, this guy has court coming up for custody court. We're just going to nab him while he's in custody court."
Yeah.
And things happened. That guy went to prison for a while. When he got out, he had to have a GPS monitor put on, and there was a geofence put on in certain locations where his soon-to-be ex-wife would be. And it was like a week or two later, the ex-wife showed up at the PD and asked for me. I was upstairs in the squad room, and I went down to meet her, and she gave me a huge hug. And she said, "Because of you and your hard work, I can finally sleep at night."
Yeah.
And whenever I'm at my wit's end, or I'm at that wall where I'm like, why do I keep doing this job? I think of that lady, because I don't know. I feel like it's important to keep there's good memories and bad memories in this job, right?
Mhm.
It's important to hold on to the good ones that you have because those are what those are what's going to pull you out of your slump. Or at least that's what works for me is, I think of that lady and I'm like, you know what? I am making a difference. Maybe not in the world, but for that lady, I made a difference in her world,
Mhm.
you know? So,
Well, it's good to keep the good memories in mind, but personally, I also think it's good to keep the bad memories in mind too, because
mhm,
they help as a reminder
yeah,
to how far you've come in, maybe your own personal journey, your own personal growth.
yeah.
But I mean, I have a handful of similar scenarios that have happened to me over time. One thing that kind of comes to mind is a lot of people think, oh, cops just want to go out, they want to just arrest people, they want to, do this or that. Most of us really don't. We don't want to arrest you. I
Mhm,
mean, I think one of the obviously, I'm a big TV movie guy,
mhm,
but it was Third Watch
mhm.
and Sully in that show.
Yeah.
One of the things he says, I'm probably going to get the quote completely wrong, but it's not just about taking people to jail. It's about solving problems.
Mhm.
Sometimes the problem has to be solved with taking somebody to jail. Sometimes it can be solved in another way. I remember I ended up making a traffic stop when I was with a former agency, and the guy, I mean, when all said and done, he was probably impaired. I don't think he realized he was impaired,
Mhm.
but he was impaired. It it wasn't a solid DWI case. And so I'm like, look, man, call somebody, have them come pick you up. So he did that, and that was that. Well, fast forward, it's probably 3, 4 months later. I think I was at like Dillard's or something. I was shopping or looking for something, and I see this dude is just eyeballing me, which in my experiences is never really a good thing.
Yeah.
But you could see he's kind of like working up the nerve for something,
Mhm.
and I'm obviously a little on edge
You're
at
like,
this
man, is this
point.
a pew pew type of day or what?
Well, I didn't have anything on me. It was
Oh.
one of the one times I didn't. And finally, he comes up to me. He just walks right up to me, and I'm like, "All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens."
Mhm.
And he says that thing that typically you never want to hear, but he says, "Hey, do you remember me?"
Oh, yeah.
And again, I'm like, "Oh, all right, we're getting close to that fork in the road."
Yahtzee.
Yeah. And he's like, he sticks his hand out. He's like, "I just want to thank you." And I'm like, refresh my memory.
Mhm.
And he said, and he goes through the night. He's like,
Mhm.
X number of months ago, you stopped me. I probably shouldn't have been driving. I didn't realize it until that night. And then all night when I got home, I thought about it. All day the next day, I thought about it. And because of you, not only do I not drink and drive, I actually decided to stop drinking. I haven't had a drop for X amount of time.
So you helped that guy realize he had a problem.
I guess so. When I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, cool. This went better than I thought it would. But all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But it's things like that,
Mhm.
or it's maybe you help save a life, or maybe you do this and that.
Mhm.
And I don't know, those things kind of help. I mean, I know they're not going to solve all the problems, but those things help a little bit. Just knowing
Yeah.
that maybe you help somebody get on a better path.
Yeah. You said fork in the road. I often find myself at a fork in the road. Like, growing up, my dad, he was a major, well, he was a meth cook for one of the biggest at the time, biggest outlaw motorcycle gangs in this region. And that's how he put food on the table. It's right, wrong, or different. That's how he clothed me. That's how, I got the stuff I needed to play sports. That's how I got other stuff. I mean, he also had a normal job where he was a carpenter by trade. But I mean, let's be honest, that's not,
Probably as lucrative as the other.
right. And sometimes, like, I get this gut wrenching feeling, like, we'll make a traffic stop, and you find a decent amount of drugs in the car. You do a search warrant in the house, and again, you find a decent amount of drugs. Part of me is excited, like, yeah, good drug bust.
Hmm.
Well, then another part of me, I'm like, man, mom's sick, mom doesn't work, mom's not in the picture, 2 kids. Where's the next meal coming from?
Yeah.
Now they're going to foster care. Now they're going to this. Now they're going down that. It's I we said it in other sessions where one thing you do today impacts people for the rest of their lives or later on down the road. And that's when they that's where I it kind of sucks, you
Yeah.
know. Yes, is dad breaking the law? Absolutely. But also, is this how dad provides for his family? Also, yes. You know what I mean? So it kind of
Well,
sucks.
and again, I can only speak for myself and my experiences.
Hmm.
I realize that not, everything we do is going to have some sort of impact, one way or the other, on
Hmm.
somebody. And saying, "Oh, look at us, we're so impactful." What I mean by that is, if you arrest somebody, that can have an impact.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
If you don't arrest somebody, that can have an impact. But it's
Absolutely.
not just that individual. It's also
And it's not that clear cut and dry either.
no, like if I can avoid it, I will at all costs. If I can avoid it, I will not put handcuffs on somebody in front of their kids.
Yeah. Now, we're not saying that we're not going to go out there and do our job because we will.
No, I mean what I mean by that is if I can get it to a point where I could walk them out to the car and put handcuffs on them
Oh,
outside,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I try
Yeah.
and
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 and there's a lot of times where that'll calm a person down
mhm,
because you give them some sort of dignity or you're not putting that fear into their children.
mhm. And most of these kids don't necessarily know what mommy and daddy are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So all they see is, I love mommy and daddy, and now the police are coming and they're putting handcuffs on daddy and taking him away, or mommy
Mm-hmm.
and taking her away.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably not ever going to know what happened,
Yeah.
but they're still going to have that core memory of, you know, one of the two getting led away in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so again, I'll try. I got to have your cooperation on this,
Yeah.
but if I can avoid it, if you can be a big boy, big girl, whatever, I'll walk you out to the car. We'll do everything there out of sight of
Yeah.
anybody else. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that can help go a long way.
Yeah.
And
Oh, don't get sideways. You get squirrely. I'm still doing my job.
oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like, you, your decisions will impact how well this goes.
Hmm.
Um.
This is like what were those multiplayer role games or
Oh,
role
yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
games or
Choose this, then this.
yeah, you
Yeah.
choose the path,
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
just facilitate.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's a lot of things go off of respect.
Hmm.
If you treat somebody with some dignity, like one of my favorite lines is, "Look, dude, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that you made a bad decision, and that's what led you here right now. It's up to you to decide whether this impacts the rest of your life or it doesn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, you might have a little bit of jail time, you might have to do a prison sentence or whatever, but it's up to you to decide right now if this decision you made tonight is the one that is going to impact the rest of your life
Hmm.
for the better or for the worse. It's up
Yeah.
to you.
No, and I tell people the same thing. Assuming I think they're
Of sound mind.
willing to listen and hear it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell them, I'm like, look, you are now at a decision point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This happened, and
There's
that's just how it is.
there's no going back now.
Now you have two choices. Choice one, you let this moment pretty much impact the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Choice two, you learn from this and
Yeah.
never make the same mistake again.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. So, I have a couple different siblings. Um, one of them is doing great things. He basically takes blueprints of old bridges, because bridges have a
Yeah.
lifespan, and he'll take the blueprints and he'll outfit it for modern technology
Hmm.
or like modern construction things, right? And he builds the blueprints that goes to the crew that builds the bridge. Pretty cool job. And then me, uh, I'm in law enforcement. We all had the same dad. My middle brother, so the one that does the bridge thing, he's my oldest brother, and then I'm the youngest one. My middle brother, he's in and out of prison, in and out for drugs and stealing stuff, right? Not a violent guy. He'll run, but if you catch him, he's not going to fight you. Um, he he knows he's caught, and that's that. But he, I don't know if it's different now, but he likes to blame our dad a lot. Like,
Hmm.
dad's why I'm here. Dad's why I'm here,
Yeah.
bro. Uh, he's 41 now, still same song and dance, and I'm like, we had the same dad.
Hmm.
We grew up in the same environment. Look where I'm at, and look where you're at. Life's a game of 5 card draw. A couple uh discards and redraws, and you can have yourself a flush.
Yeah.
You just gotta be patient, and you gotta have that resiliency and that fortitude to keep pushing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Yeah. They think if you don't get the right hand on the flop, then you just give up.
Exactly. And it just amazes me how many people just give up, or I'm the product of my environment, or my dad didn't hug me. Well, my dad hugged me. It was with his fist in my face, but look where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean it's truly it's one of those things where, and maybe more of us within law enforcement should recognize this, but I recognize it. Where I'm at is not set in stone.
No.
I could make some very poor choice down the
Yeah.
road,
Yeah.
just like
You're always one choice
somebody,
away from throwing it away.
yeah, just like somebody who's in and out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
All they have to, I mean, they're capable of living
Mm-hmm.
incredible
Some of those guys are
lives.
brilliant.
Hmm.
I mean, they are criminal masterminds that if they would have applied it to being on the straight and narrow,
Hmm.
there's no reason why they couldn't be leading a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously.
people can change,
Yeah.
and I mean, if they're committed to it, they will change.
Sometimes I think it falls down to they didn't have anybody that, and I'm not saying, that it's because of their childhood, but it probably most likely is because of their childhood. I feel like some people we deal with didn't have somebody there to support them
Hmm.
or even believe in them,
Yeah,
you know? And that's why they're at where they're at now.
well, that's 100% true. And what I've kind of seen now is you would be surprised showing some faith in somebody, how
Yeah.
much that can make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, people will surprise you,
Hmm.
and even just simple like words, not necessarily words of affirmation, but words of encouragement,
Yeah.
you know, can can make somebody do amazing things.
There was a lady at my last agency. I can't tell you the amount of search warrants that I was a part of, raiding her house, getting the drugs, taking her kids away. It
Mhm.
was wash, rinse, freaking repeat, right? Now she's a youth pastor and has her kids.
Mhm.
But it took a lot.
But
But finally, now she's there, and she's super thankful, super grateful, and now she has devoted her life into making sure kids don't make the same mistake she did, or if they're in that situation, here's how you get out of it. Here's what I did. Don't learn from my mistakes. Just listen to me, and I'll help you find the way.
mhm.
which it. It sucks we had to kick in the door so many times,
Yeah.
but it's awesome to see the type of person that she grew into. Because quite literally, she's a pillar in the community now. Like she's helped leading young minds to God.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how religious people are or whatever, but that's important to her. That's what she found in prison, and that's her avenue now.
No,
So
and like I said, it's you shouldn't count people down based off of past actions because you dig far enough into anybody's closet, you're
yeah,
gonna find a skeleton of some sort.
show me a saint.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
But you have to, I guess, be open minded enough to see that people can change.
Hmm.
People can, and again, it's both ways.
Yeah,
People can change for the better. People can change for the worse.
but I'd be lying if I said after so many times of kicking her door, it was just burnout of
Hmm.
like, oh my God, we're going to her house again. Good Lord, lady, get it together.
Hmm.
It's not that hard. After I got to know her, there was a lot of trauma in her life that led her down the road that she went down
Yeah.
that nobody knew, because nobody sat down and just had a conversation with her. One day, transporting her to jail, we just had a conversation. Two people just having a conversation. And I was like, wow, okay. You've connected some dots for me. I can see why you are the way you are.
Hmm.
Now let's get you some help.
And we're all capable of changing for the better, and we all have room to change for the better.
You just gotta want it
You do. And sometimes
and work for it.
you just have to, I guess, somehow hit that realization. Um, you've seen one of my narcotics courses that I
Hmm.
teach, or at least the overview of it.
Hmm.
In that, one of the stories that I tell is of this individual who was framed by social media in a bad light
Hmm.
because of addiction. And I really got to thinking about her, and I read into her story. Again, the background. And again, I'm not excusing any behaviors.
Hmm.
Um, and I can get into that on another topic, but you don't know what people are going through, and you don't know what they've been through.
Hmm.
And in researching her story and learning more about her story, and then learning more into or taking a view on narcotics from another standpoint,
Hmm.
that actually led me to maybe change how I interact with people sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that I ended up doing as a result of it is I have this book I'm working on that talks about like addiction and
Hmm.
the stigma associated with it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not excusing behaviors in it, but I'm recognizing how we can fuel that fire
Oh, for sure.
in our day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. My last agency, I was part of a youth trafficking task force, and there's a lot of people that will see a sex worker and go, like, "Oh, that's just a drug addict." They chose that life.
Hmm.
Some of them, yes, they do it for the money, right? Some of them, yes, I will say that. But there's a lot of them. You're telling me that if you were forced to do things on that level, that you wouldn't pick up a pookie, you wouldn't pick up a fully loaded syringe to make the pain go away, or to numb yourself because you know that you're about to have a night filled with that.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to tell you that if that was my life, yeah, I would probably do the same thing. I would try to numb the pain in whatever way I can.
But some of these things that I've learned over the years, I wish I would have learned sooner. And maybe it's just one of those, the journey of maturity in this field. But
Yeah.
I wish I would have learned some of it sooner
Hmm.
because I think I would have ended up being better.
Well, I think one of the greatest tools that any law enforcement officer or any first responder can have is life experience.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that you have to sympathize with everybody, but empathy goes a long way.
Yeah.
That's a really impactful tool.
Well, and sometimes that empathy, and not to confuse sympathy and empathy, sometimes that empathy can be what it takes to lead that person to make a life-changing choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
For once, there's somebody who's not judging me.
Yeah.
There's somebody who is listening and understanding.
Yeah.
And I mean, even as a cop, that can go a long way too. And I'm not saying you should do everything with an ulterior motive, but sometimes that 10 minutes of empathy, that conversation that you have, can open up some trust between you and that individual. And who's to say 6 months later, a year later, they hear something and maybe give you a call to
Yeah.
say, hey, this is going on.
Yeah. Or even I've had this happen with actual gang members. Outlaw motorcycle gangs is my niche. That's probably where I'm most knowledgeable when it comes to law enforcement. Um, Pulled over gang member of a pretty big outlaw motorcycle gang. Not gonna give names or anything, but pulled the dude over. I can't remember for what, and he came back as suspended, and he had a warrant. And I'm telling the guy what's gonna happen, like I do everybody else. I'm a straight shooter because if something's happening to me, I want you to be honest with me. I'm a grown man. Shoot me straight. You know what I mean? And I'm telling him, and he's getting keyed up. He's starting to elevate. And the dude he's with, I've dealt with him on a couple different occasions, and he looks and said, "Dude, stop it, Isaiah. Good dude, solid guy. I understand he's a cop, but listen, what he's saying, if he's saying that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen,
Hmm.
and that goes along with building a rapport.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been a different situation. Here I am by myself with two established gang members and a pretty big LMG, and it, it ended up being pretty good because I treated the other guy with dignity and respect. Now, we both chose our sides of the law, but it doesn't mean I had to be an a-hole to you. You know what I mean?
No, and it's things like that that can have that huge difference. That's why if somebody asks me a question, I'm not going to answer it unless I know for certain.
Yeah.
Like somebody will
If I
say,
don't know, I'm gonna tell you,
yeah,
hey man, I don't know, but I'll find the answer.
yeah. Somebody will say, oh, well, what's my bond? Like, bro, can't tell you. I can't tell you the answer to that. I'm not going to tell you. I think I know what it is,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to tell you that and be wrong, and then
Yeah.
have you,
Yeah.
you know, get mad at me for that. So I'll let you know when we get to the jail, or
Hmm.
hey, what's my warrant for? I'm gonna have to double check it,
Hmm.
or what's the bond on my warrant?
Hmm.
I feel like there's too many times because anytime you have an interaction with a cop, that is not your interaction.
Hmm.
That's not going to shape or change anything. That is shaping the interaction
With
that
future.
they have with the next cop.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I lie to you and tell you what I think you want to hear or tell you something to avoid any kind of conflict,
Hmm.
yeah, okay, I lied to you, I avoided conflict, whatever. But now that next cop you deal with, you're going to be distrustful. You're not
Yeah.
going to believe, who knows? It might
Yeah.
even make their job a lot harder. So that's just the way I see it.
That's one thing I try to do is change the acronym. All cops are bad. All cops are, the other word.
Mm.
I try to change that each shift, every time I deal with somebody. Now, there's some people that you have to deal with them a certain way because that's it. They chose violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I I give everybody a fresh start, a
Oh,
clean
for
slate.
sure. Yeah.
Um, Now, if you fight me, the next time, yes, you're still going to get a clean slate. I'm going to be a little bit more,
Reserved.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to watch you a little bit more,
Hmm.
but you're still going to get a clean slate
Yeah. If
because,
every time I stick my hand out to a dog, it bites me, I'm gonna stop sticking my hand out.
yeah, but I'm also going to give you the opportunity to,
Redeem yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that, I think again, that's just how I choose
Hmm.
to look at things and do things.
Oh
But
yeah. Trust and respect is a dual street.
mhm.
It's earned. It's not getting. But yeah, man, I don't know. You have to find your own way to combat burnout, but it's manageable because if you don't find a way to combat it, it's going to consume you.
Mm,
And I mean, what is it? From the I was told this in my academy class. Within the first 5 years of everybody's career, I think it was like a third or half of the class is going to quit
mhm.
or like walk away from law enforcement in
Oh yeah,
general.
there's definite burnout cycles,
Yeah.
and it obviously the exact time frame varies
Hmm.
from place to place.
Yeah.
I've always heard like every 7 years you're going to
Mm.
hit a new burnout cycle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just got to find that one thing that kind of keeps you
Hmm.
energized. But
That's why I keep that call in my head.
hmm
Now I will say this agency, like it's I'm enjoying it, right?
hmm
My first agency, I started out enjoying it, but it was a high tourist area, high, well, I mean, we had, I think, 20 something bars within like a, a mile and a half of each other,
hmm
2 miles, whatever.
and with high tourist areas,
Hmm.
the other problem you run into is you spend the majority of your time dealing with these tourists,
Hmm.
and they're just transient.
Yeah.
You're not really getting the time to deal
Hmm.
with the people
Yeah.
in your community, the people
Yeah.
that you know,
Hmm.
are truly there for.
Well, and then one thing I noticed was after COVID or during COVID, people realized, hey, I can't afford to have two, three, four houses, right?
Mhm.
So, or my agency or my state has crazy COVID restrictions, so I'm going to start moving around. Well, normally it was summer was go, 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 go. I mean, you're finishing a call, right as two more coming in. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And at the beginning of my law enforcement career, um, wintertime was always slow down, take a breath. I got 2 or 3 months of just peaceful relaxation before I have to go back into the heightened state of go, 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 go. After COVID, it got to the point where winter was almost just as busy as summer because, yeah, it's a transient town, but some of the transients were becoming community members.
Mhm.
And I always called it domestic season, right? So summer is go, go, go. And it's drunks, it's fights, it's this, it's that. In wintertime, not a lot of stuff is open. And then people realize, you know what? I hate my wife. I'm gonna punch her in the face.
Mhm.
And then you deal with the same household for 2 months, and then summer happens again, and then they do their own thing. But it got to a point where it was either, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave this agency, or I'm leaving law enforcement all together, and I wasn't ready to hang it up yet. So I
That's
found a new
completely
agency.
understandable. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to again, when it comes to on the job stuff, you have to
Mm.
keep those positive things in mind.
And
But
that's no hate on that agency.
no,
Like, I love you guys. I love the agency. Like, you guys are still, love.
yeah. But it's one of those things too, though. You also have to have those things, those outlets outside
Hmm.
of the job, and we'll actually talk about that in future sessions.
Hmm.
But you know, let us know. I mean, let us know some of the things that you do to deal with burnout, or some of the things that you keep in mind.
Hmm.
Comment below. Again, same thing. Send us stories, send us emails, let us know.
Hmm.
Tell us a story. We can read it during one of our next sessions. Obviously, we'll limit as much information as you want limited.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
reach out.
also with combating burnout, don't be that guy or gal at your agency that's dragging everybody down with you.
True.
Because that stuff will spread like wildfire.
Mm,
If you're Debbie Downer in the dumps every time you come to work, hey, listen, I understand this job isn't for everybody. And while I'm on this topic, those people that try it and hey, this isn't for me, I have more respect for them
mhm.
than the people that try to force it onto themselves and stay in the job because you're going to get yourself hurt or somebody else hurt, or you're just going to ruin the entire feng shui of your agency because you're being selfish
No, I
and you're
agree.
being just a boo-hoo, woe is me. That's life, brother. You know what I mean? Like, strap in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. But I think we kicked that horse to death and then beat on it some more and then shot it and then stomped on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's I think it's time for that safety brief. So again, something to think about. Let us know what you think. Yeah, send us some stories, send us some means of combating burnout. But
yeah,
so make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all those fun things to share with your friends who might get something out of this.
yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see what today's safety brief is.
That print being smaller.
Smoked meat, not meth.
Wow.
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye.